Hello everyone. Welcome to the Let Us Lead Masterclass. I'm your host, Vishwadeep Banerjee. As a reminder to all of you, Let Us Lead believes in people centricity and servant leadership. We are trying to build the next generation of managers and leaders here. So if you're not aligned with our mission, then please skip this and move on to other things in life. And those who are aligned with our purpose, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram as well. Let Us Lead recently ventured in the podcasting world as well. And you can find my podcast on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, Hubhopper, Acast, Breaker, and Kabri as well. All the links are given in the description below. Also note that this masterclass is following up the First Time Managers, a complete guide full-length training course that we completed in 2021. So if you have not gone through that, then I would request you to also go through that course to learn different aspects of management, just to get you going. All right, let's get started with Let Us Lead Masterclass, taking you to the next level. So today we are starting with our 6th episode of this series, and we'll be discussing about how to hire the right kind of people. Now, this is a very, very high demand subject which makes this content a premium one. However, the mission of Let Us Lead is far more important than just money or any workshop fees. So I decided not to make it a paid content in a workshop format. And I'm very, very excited to give you all the insights into this and share all the knowledge and experience that I have gathered over the years. And I'm sure all of you are very eager and excited to go through this as well. All right, so let's not waste much time and let's get started. Now, when it comes to hiring, by and large, candidates get screened on two major factors. In broader terms. One is your will, and another factor is the skill. Now, under this will factor, not only behavior and attitude plays a crucial role, but also alignment with organization's values and culture also, can come into play. On the other hand, skill is pretty straightforward. Every industry demands niche skill sets, and candidates get judged during interviews. Now, no two companies are the same when it's, even if it's the same industry. And that is why the more generic the hiring process will be, the greater will be the probability to onboard wrong hires for any particular company. Every company needs a customized, well-researched hiring process which actually suits their needs. Now, coming back to the point, of course you have to evaluate skills and behavior, but the bigger question is which one will you prioritize? Now, vast majority hires based on skills, and I say that is exactly why vast majority of the organizations are not great or are not doing great. Only handful are. The great organizations always excels in hiring. They have the ability to look beyond skill sets. Look, let us recall one of my earlier episodes where I discussed in detail why behavior is so difficult to change. It depends on so many complex factors like environment, like your life experiences, your genes, or your physical factors. If you want to know that in detail, you can check that episode post this video. And you will find that video in the same playlist, but I will also put that link down in the description for you. But I do not want to discuss those in this particular video, so I will cut the chase and tell you that behavior is very, very difficult to change. But on the other hand, skills are ever changing, and you can train anyone, any skills. Now, of course, some people will pick up some skills faster and better than others, but the fact remains that it is trainable and thus it is controllable. Now, in spite of this truth, it just baffles me that still organizations stresses so much on skills and gives so less importance on behavior or values or character. One of the major reasons for this attitude, I think, is due to the fact that it is very difficult to judge someone's attitude in an interview, which typically is a short format process. And it is much easier to assess knowledge or skills. So to summarize, let me quote a line from the founder and ex-CEO of Southwest Airlines, the legendary Herb Kelleher, who once said on hiring that hire for attitude, train for skill, and look for leadership capabilities in all your potential hires. I just cannot agree with this line enough. And Southwest, just like other inspiring organizations, walk the talk. They have always hired for attitude and values which they thought were right for their culture. Let me share with you a very popular story of Southwest Airlines hiring. You might get some very good ideas from that story itself. The story goes by the name of the brown short story, how Southwest filters cultural fits. Fun-loving attitude is one of the values of Southwest, and they take that pretty seriously. The name Brown Shorts draws from a story of Southwest Airlines about a round of hiring for new pilots. Now, typically, hiring pilots means typically those serious folks dressed formally in black suits, etc. Now, the Southwest interviewer invited this serious bunch of pilots to get comfortable in a pair of Bermuda shorts. Can you believe that? Now, these shorts were part of Southwest summer uniform, but it was an invitation that seemed too ridiculous for many of the pilots, who immediately declined the shorts. They thought, what has shorts to do with flying airplane? But that just told Southwest that these folks, these pilots, may be great pilots. I mean, they might have great skill sets, and they might exhibit those skill sets and fly our airplanes better and satisfy the customer that way. But they just were not going to fit a fun-loving culture of Southwest Airlines. Now, just because you put on the shorts, there's no guarantee that you got the job. Of course, there were other rounds to follow where more filtration happened. But this was a pretty good indication that those pilots might just not fit into the Southwest culture. Now, Southwest Airlines, let me tell you, is the most profitable low-cost airlines in US history. Their customers and employees both just love them. They have passed all the test of time with flying colors, including the 2007-2008 recession, and due to their great culture and leadership, basically. So you know how seriously they take the hiring process. So how can you hire people for attitude for your company then? What strategy should you adopt? Now, if you look at the traditional interview process, you basically try to filter candidates based on their skills first. After the people gets through the skill assessment, then they confront the management round. And on clearing that, they meet the HR, where typically the CTC and the joining dates, etc. gets discussed. This hiring structure has been going on for so many decades, and clearly this prioritizes skill. That's why skill assessment gets done first. Your value or attitude assessment is done or is supposed to be done by the second round, which is the management round. However, since companies are skill focused, so if any candidate clears the skill assessment, the management round, a lot of times with a few exceptions though, becomes literally a walkover. No managers wants to reject skilled workforce, correct? So you can very well see the problem here. The problem here is the management round, where it is placed in the entire sequence of hiring. All you need to do is change the order. If you want to hire for attitude, then have the round which judges the attitude right up front, right? It is the most easiest change that you can do. And it surprises me how vast majority of the organization does not do this way. It makes so much difference. It makes your managers ask questions to the candidate without knowing how skillful the candidates are. If managers feel that the candidate's attitude is not up to mark or they does not fit the cultural values of the company, they can reject them without giving their decision a second thought, as is the case when managers know that the candidates have cleared the skill round first, so why to reject them? So let me give a second thought. You see the benefit here. It's not about what questions to ask. It is first about your intent, your mindset, and your will, right? Do you have the intent of hiring or rejecting candidates based on attitude or shared values, irrespective of how skilled candidates they are, what credentials they have, how they scored in their schools or colleges? If yes, you got to show that intent right up front in interview process. Only then comes what questions to ask in those management rounds. Now, although I can share some of the questions you can ask in an interview to judge someone's attitude, but I will not be able to, since that will not make any sense. This video is on YouTube and is accessible to everyone, managers as well as candidates. So if I talk about specific questions here, even candidates will come to know. So what will be the point for you? If you are really interested to create a list of questions for your organization, then you can contact me on my email and I can work with you to create a list. However, in this video, I intend to share with you 5 things that you can use as part of your hiring strategy. Number 1, create a certified interview panel and a well-calibrated interview process. Now, why is this required? People who are doing well in your company consistently are more likely to be your cultural fits, right? People who are the torch bearers of your values and culture are most likely to be the best judge to determine who should be allowed to come into the system. So start from there and make your best guys go through an extensive training. And once again, when I say best guys, I do not mean the best guys in terms of performance. I mean to say the best guys who are cultural fits for your company. All right. So start with that, and your best guy should be given an extensive training and a calibration and a certification program on hiring. There's no point having a panel where there are too many conflicting opinions on hiring. You will basically waste your time, money, and effort, and you will make wrong choices very often when it comes to hiring. Number 2, try to have group interviews as opposed to one-on-one. Here you will make better choices. One person judging a guy and 3 people or 4 people judging the same guy is not the same drill. On top of that, if you can have at least 3 or 4 candidates grouped together in an interview process, you will be able to judge how candidates are treating each other during the interviews, how they're interacting with each other and pushing their perspectives forward, how they're respecting counter views of others or dismissing them without even considering. It is a decent enough indicator of how collaborative they are. Of course, they are fighting for an opportunity to get into your company, so collaboration in true sense will not be there. However, if you observe closely, their attitude and behavior will reveal a lot about them when they will be working in groups. Number 3, review their resumes thoroughly and check how frequently they have changed jobs. Now, do not jump to any conclusion, but ask them questions, ask them for the reasons on why they have changed so many jobs, and try to validate whether it makes perfect sense to you. Now, to give you guys a clue, if their reasons are something like, they jumped the ship due to money or management issues, then you should think whether your company can keep the employee happy with his or her expectations. But if the reason seems to be organic, like growth or location or personal issues or family issues, and if you're convinced with all their answers, then you should be fine. However, the frequency of jumps are a pretty good indicator of the stability of an employee. Number 4, tone down the formality of the interview process a bit. It's almost like giving a feeling to the candidate that you are starting to like the candidate and having a near friendly conversation. It will help you to open up the candidate and lower his guard. Now remember, in an interview process, you want the candidate to do most of the talking instead of you doing a lot of talking. So unless you make him feel safe, he will not say those extra words and sentences that you want to hear, right? On top of this, the millennial generation is pretty smart. They're the first generation who has grown up with technology. They have information available in their fingertips. They're just better prepared for all your questions. They're learning interview skills from webinars, online classes, YouTube videos like this, and many more channels. So you've got to be one step ahead than them. You got to break those point-to-point answers, those prepared answer scripts. I hope you're getting the point. Number 5, ask them why they want to join your company. You cannot miss this question. This is such an important question. No matter how prepared they are, this question will let you know whether they want to join you for the right reason or not. I found mostly people answers in a very generic way. Like, I want to join your company because yours is a multinational corporation, or sometimes they would say it's a great company to work with, or it's a very reputed company, or I got to know that you have got some great clients and growth opportunities, something like that. Very generic answers I used to get. These answers indicates that you are just another company in their growth map. Otherwise, you mean nothing to them, right? They're hardly bothered to know you. Candidates who can give you specific answers to this question, like let's say talk about your mission or vision or values, or a very specific decision that you have taken last year or in the last 5 years, or any specific achievement that your organizations have achieved in the last few years. Those sort of answers has to be taken very seriously here. It basically means that they have done their homework, which in turn means that they have spent time knowing you, which in turn means they're serious about joining you and contributing to your cause or add value to your organization. So I hope you're getting where I'm going. So now I have to stop here, since I can only reveal this much in this video because it's a public video. Anything more I say or reveal here will be a public information and will not do any benefit to you, managers or leaders out there. As I said before, if you're really interested and I see a group of people interested to brainstorm questions and techniques to hire the right kind of people for your company, then you may contact me on my email below, or type in your comments, and I will try my level best to help you out. I hope you have learned something today, and we'll share this with more and more management and leadership communities only. And I hope you will try out some of the things that I discussed here in this video. Till next time, take care of yourself and your family members. Goodbye and happy hiring. See you guys soon.